Hi everyone. In my today's session, I'm going to explain about the iterators in C Sharp. I think most of the time we would have used the for each loop with our programming. It's kind of a usual bread and butter, which most of the time we use in our programs in C Sharp or any programming languages. So, what are these iterators basically? An iterator can be used to step through collections such as lists and arrays. Okay, an iterator method or get accessor performs a custom iteration over a collection. Okay, what they are saying is an iterator method or a get accessor performs a custom iteration over a collection. An iterator method uses the yield return statement to return each element one at a time. So just think about it, okay, guys. It is not like just you are basically making an API call and you got a n number of elements, and when you returned it from a function, it will immediately return n number of elements. No, okay, this is not like your regular methods. That's why this kind of method, which basically performs a yield return, is called a iterator in C sharp. Okay, it returns one item at a time. Okay, so whenever it performs some processing, contacts with a backend API, comes up with some value, okay, like I enumerable of t, okay. So once it comes up with that value, right, that value it will return one at a time, not entire list at a time. Okay. When a yield return statement is reached, the current location in code is remembered. Execution is restarted from that location the next time the iterator function is called. Okay, soon I'm going to show you what does that mean. The return type of an iterator method or get accessor can be I enumerable of a generic type, okay, I enumerator or I enumerator of generic type. You can use a yield break statement to end the iteration. Okay, this one by one element, it's kindly see it's a kind of data source. Okay, I can say it's a kind of data source which can generate the collections, okay, over some period of time. Okay, so that's what these iterators are. See, don't think of iterators as just a way to iterate or just step through a collection of just to step through the collections. Okay, it is more than that basically. Okay, so that's all about the iterators basically. Okay, so yes, in C sharp you can use a yield break statement to end the iteration. And with the introduction of C Sharp 8.0, the language now supports async enumerables and iterators also. This has added even more power for the programming language. Some facts on iterators. Okay, an iterator can occur as a method or get accessor. If you people are familiar with C Sharp programming, right? Okay, and get accessor is nothing but a simple code block in a class property. Okay, so if I want to show you that, just for example, it would be something like this. Okay, so can you see these are called getter setter accessors. In other programming languages like Java and all, you write a get method and set method, right? So in C sharp they have provided a property, they have provided a concept of properties basically. So these properties indirectly, okay, these properties when compiled, right, the compiler will indirectly create, automatically create get and set accessor methods for you. Okay, so this is just a easy to use syntax which C sharp has supported from the beginning itself. Okay, so what they say is basically your iterator can be a method like this. Okay, or it can be your get accessor, because in the get we basically get the data. Okay, so that's all about these iterators. Okay, so let me go through the next fact. Okay, so an iterator can occur as a method or get accessor. An iterator cannot occur in an event. Okay, you can't make an event as a iterator, not possible. Instance constructor, no, your class constructor cannot become an iterator. You can't do a yield return there, not allowed. Static constructor, again not allowed. Or a static finalizer, no, it's not allowed. Okay, an iterator can occur only as a method or a get accessor. An implicit conversion must exist from the expression type. Okay, in the yield return statement to the type argument for the I enumerable of t returned by the iterator. Okay, what they are saying is whenever you write a iterator, right, whenever you implement a iterator, just for your example over here, so I have created an iterator to generate a odd sequence, odd number sequence. Okay, see, it looks similar like a C sharp method or any other programming language method. Public static I enumerable of int odd sequence, it receives parameters, it performs some operation, but when it returns value, see this keyword yield return number, this basically causes compiler to generate a state machine in the background. Okay, when this block of code is compiled, right, it will not be treated as a method. Okay, behind the scenes C sharp compiler automatically creates a state machine in order to yield each and every odd number whenever you iterate over this odd sequence method. Okay, so that is the beauty of iterators in C sharp. So what they are saying is, now if I come to the second fact, an implicit conversion must exist from the expression type in the yield return statement to the type argument for the I enumerable of t returned by the iterator. So whatever expression you ultimately evaluate over here, right, whatever expression it may be, here I'm basically evaluating to return an odd sequence or odd number. Okay, so that ultimate result should be your return type of your iterator method. Here it is I enumerable of int, so the yield return value should be a integer value. So if it is a generic type, for example I enumerable of t, in that case you must ensure that this return type should be that t. Okay, like person, entity, any kind of class you use, or structure, whatever basically. In a C sharp, an iterator method cannot have any in, ref, or out parameters. Yes. Okay. In C sharp, the iterator method doesn't support this in keyword, ref keyword, and out parameters basically, or out keyword in its method signature. Or in simplest word, it doesn't support any ref parameters, out parameters, or any kind of in keywords. Okay. So it should be very plain signature. Move on. In C sharp, yield is not a reserved word and has special meaning only when it is used before a return or break keyword. Do remember, yield is not a reserved word in C sharp. Okay, it has only its special meaning when it is used before a return in order to return an element one at a time, and in order to break the iterator when you use yield break, so that the sequence or the process of creating a sequence or a collection of element can be broken by using yield break. Although you can write an iterator as a method, the compiler translates it into a nested class that is, in fact, a state machine. Mark this statement. Okay, this is the very simplest syntax C sharp has provided. Okay, Microsoft has provided to ease the developer to write a simplest code. Okay, the code which is very familiar to your earlier methods or functions in C sharp, but when it is compiled behind the scenes, it's basically a state machine. It will be converted to a class. Okay, so that heavy uplifting has been taken care by the compiler itself just by providing you a simple syntax over here. That's the beauty of C sharp. Okay, they have introduced many such constructs like async and await, which has been become a standard in many programming languages nowadays. Okay, so in general, iterators can be used to lazily generate a sequence of objects. Do remember, don't think as an iterator a way to enumerate over a collection, just to step over through a collection. No, an iterator is basically a mechanism to lazily generate a sequence of objects. Okay, and when I say lazily generate a sequence of objects, they can be of finite length or they can be of infinite length, like an angular observable. Okay, whenever some data is available. Okay, or when, or you can say a stream of data or a source of data basically. A iterator can be a source of data. Okay, whenever some value is available, it will simply return. Okay, so that's why they call iterators can be used to lazily generate a sequence of objects. Okay, so that's all about iterators. So let's move on to a demo now. So let's start with a simple iterator provided by C sharp. Okay, so this is my main method. Okay, so I'm running a for each loop. Okay, int number in odd sequence. Okay, there's a method I have written. This is my iterator method. Very simple. Public static I enumerable of int odd sequence, first number and the last number. Okay, so what I have to do, I simply check in this first and last number in the range, whatever numbers are odd numbers that I have to print. See the syntax, the regular for each loop. Okay, and then I'm checking if the number is divisible by 0 or not. If it is not if it is divisible by sorry, yeah, if it is divisible by 2 and if there is a remainder which is not equal to 0, then it's an odd number. So what I'm doing, I'm not doing just return number. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm doing a yield return. So whenever the first iteration happens, okay, you return a first number over here, it will continue the execution path here. Okay, so after the first iteration, the program flow won't go to directly console.write line. Instead, again, it remembers the next step in your odd sequence. That is, if you have passed a value of 3 here, so the next step will be the number 4, number plus plus. Okay, so again it will continue here, one more iteration will happen, it will return the number over here, it will print it over here, like that it will continue till the end of your iteration or iterator. Okay, so if I run this program, you would see the sequence of odd numbers. Okay, so over here 3 5 7 9 11 13 15 16, don't worry about this. This is related to async iterators, which I'm going to explain or demo soon. So till here you see 3 5 7 9 11 13 15 17, all these are returned by that iterator method one by one, not at one shot. Okay, so that are the simple iterators in C sharp. Okay, and if you put a breakpoint, no, you understand much better basically. So your for each loop is basically making a call to your iterator design pattern basically. Okay, so it will internally call the move next method, then it will call what is the current position of the element, then it will check if there are any elements are available or not. Okay, like that it basically implements the iterator design pattern and iterate over this collection. Now see, put a breakpoint over here. See, again it came here. See, it's keep on stepping over basically. Okay, then it printed. Okay, so that's how the iterators work. Okay, that's a simple iterator. Next, move on to with the .NET Core 3.0 and with language version C Sharp 8, they introduced the concept of async enumerables and async iterators. And now see the beauty, how it works. Okay, there is one method called range async, which I have written. Okay, which takes a start and which basically tell you the count, how many elements you have to generate. So start with the 10 and return 3 elements, and I'm doing some asynchronous operation in order to generate the sequence of elements. So in order to accommodate that, what I have done, I have called task.delay, and 2 seconds delay I have provided, and then I'm returning that element. So I'm doing some background API call or some uh, expensive or time consuming mathematical operation you can consider over here, and then I'm returning the number. So I sync enumerable of int, so it should return a int only. Okay, so if I for the time being comment out this, and let me show you how it works. Okay, this is the sync one done. Now see the async. So look at the syntax. Whenever you make use of async enumerable of int, okay, and you create a async iterator. Okay, this is a async iterator, public static async. Look at the keywords async and await. Okay, so I'm performing asynchronous programming. Okay, I'm asynchronously generating a sequence of elements. Okay, so public static async, I async enumerable of int, range async, start count. Okay, I'm running from 0 to the count, less than count, and then I'm performing a task dot delay, so some time consuming operation, and then yield return. Again, look at the beauty. They have not complicated the syntax. The syntax is same as your synchronous iterators. The yield return number here, also the yield return number. Okay, only thing is this async await and I async enumerable of int, the type, basically the enumerable type you specify is async in nature, basically. Okay, so now if I run this program, so you will see the elements are printed after the I into number of seconds, 2 into number of seconds. See, 10, 11, and then it will print 12. Yes, can you see that? Okay, so that is the power of I async enumerables and also the asynchronous enumerators. And when you see the usage, when I iterate over a for each loop, I don't put that await operator over here. No, I put that await operator in front of my for each loop. So basically, I'm telling that I'm making use of asynchronous iterator. Okay. So that's all about yeah, the async enumerables and async iterators in C sharp. Okay. Then what else we left with? Yeah, how to create a custom collection and provide your iterator method, that I'm going to explain now. So let me make this 1000, 2000 in order to make it very simple. I will run the program. After 2 seconds, it should print the numbers 10, 11, 12. So this is how it is lazily and asynchronously generating a sequence of elements. Okay, see, none of these iterator methods are maintaining their own collection. No, a iterator in C sharp basically meant to generate or lazily generate a sequence of elements. Okay, so that's the power of iterators in C sharp. Okay, so let me quickly show you a demo on, yeah, custom collection which implement their own iterators. So I have a collection class called months which has some static data which is called months. Okay, and it inherits, sorry, it implements the interface I enumerable, and I enumerable provides only one method, that is called get enumerator. Okay, and this get enumerator method is in nature, it's a iterator method. You have to provide a iterator method implementation for that. Okay, so it returns a I enumerator, so I enumerable dot get enumerator, get enumerator. Okay, so what I'm doing, very simple. For index equal to 0, less than months dot length, index plus plus, and just yield return the month one by one. Okay, a simple for loop which is going to run. Okay, from which is going to run and return the elements one by one. Okay, so comment out this. Where is that? Yeah, for the time being, I'll comment it out, and I'm going to show you that. Okay, yeah, control F5. See, when I used it in a for each loop, it printed the months. Okay, so what I did, when I made a use of that, no, simple, I created my custom collection class var months equal to new months. For each var month in months, see console.writeline month. Okay, so internally when I did this for each, whenever I made use of this for each loop on my collection, okay, internally it referred this state machine. Okay, it will create a class, as I already explained, it will create a state machine class, and that state machine will take the responsibility of enumerating over your inside collection and returning it one by one to your for each loop. Okay, so this is all about the C sharp iterators. I hope you people understood the concept, and if you encounter any scenario where you need to generate your sequence asynchronously, okay, lazily, okay, on demand, in such cases you can basically implement your own iterator methods. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a nice day.